Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. So today I'd like to do a video on this article from Bloomberg about bathroom sharing. This is something that I have a lot of spicy opinions on after living in New York City for 32 years. It says here, how to solve the great urban restroom shortage. Civic-minded businesses should open their hearts and their lavatories to the public. At the height of the COVID pandemic, it was nearly impossible to find an open public restroom. Many public lavatories across many U.S. cities remain closed today. In New York City, a recent investigation found that the city parks offer a scant 16 comfort stations per 100,000 residents. Most of us have experienced the challenge of finding a public restroom, but for many, restroom access isn't just a matter of convenience, it's a serious medical issue. And they're talking about how there could be potentially public incentive structures for businesses to open their restrooms to the general public. So there are a number of things that I want to say about this. The first is that you have an obvious problem, and many of these particular businesses, as a private business, one of the issues is that if you let people use your bathroom, often in a place like New York City, where people don't tend to have the same manners that they do in other normal parts of the country, that they'll just piss on the floor, they'll piss everywhere, they make it look like shit, they don't clean them up after themselves, and then an employee, often somebody that makes minimum wage, is going to have to do so while managing a bunch of other customers. So there's that issue where there's not really much to gain, but there is a good amount to lose. So usually they'll do something like require that you pay money in order to actually use the bathroom. That's not something that I've necessarily had a serious problem with. What I have had a serious problem with is when businesses don't allow you to use bathrooms that they used to allow you to use, even if you pay money. So one example I'll use here is Wolf Nights. Wolf Nights is an excellent, amazing, high-quality fast food place that you can go to get food that is healthy, tastes amazing, and is even open at 1 in the morning. Back in the day when I was doing my board repair videos, I would not have time to do them throughout the course of the day because I'd have to do normal work. I only had 2 or 3 employees back then, so I would wait until 8 or 9 o'clock, start doing my board repair, then I would do my board repair video around 11 or 12. I would leave work around 12:30 and I'd walk down, and the only place open where I could get healthy food was Wolf Nights. And as long as I paid, I was able to use the bathroom. Then, a few years ago, I went there for my birthday. The prices had went up a little bit, so for me and somebody else to get food, it cost about $40. I left a $20 tip. I spent $60 for a meal for 2 people, and I asked if I could use the bathroom, because they had moved the place around, so you had to kind of go behind something to use the bathroom. And they said, we don't have a bathroom. I'm like, what's that right there? And they both looked at each other, and it's like, listen, I know this is a bathroom. I go, is there a larger tip I can give you so that I can use the bathroom? And they said, no. At which point I said, fuck you, and never went back there again. If you're a business that doesn't want to let any random schmuck use the bathroom in a place like New York City, that is understandable, because there is a fairly good chance if you let that happen, your bathroom will look like trash, and there's also a good chance that somebody tries to live in it, which can create problems for your business. The serious issue that I've noticed over the past several years is this trend where even if you spend $30 or $50 or $70 at a business, a bathroom that was once accessible to you is no longer accessible. And in my opinion, that's just inexcusable. I completely understand not wanting to open up your bathroom to any Tom, Dick, or Harry that wants to walk in, because first it starts with 1 person, then 5 people, then 20 people an hour, then everybody knows that's the place I can use the bathroom for free, and in a place like New York City, it'll look like shit very quickly. But to not let people use the bathroom at all, even if they're a paying customer, that's where I've drawn the line. And what I've said as somebody who patronizes these businesses is, if I spend a certain amount of money and you do not have a bathroom available, I'm just not patronizing your establishment anymore. And one of the problems that I'm noticing is that there are more and more businesses, particularly in urban centers where real estate comes at a premium, that are not offering restrooms to the public, or their restrooms, and sharing them with the public, regardless of what the customer spends at that business, which is obviously a serious issue, because if it takes you 40 minutes to get home and 40 minutes to get there, and you've went to dinner or done something and now you want to go shopping, you're going to have to take a piss. And if you have no place to take a piss, you're probably going to do what many people do in New York City, which results in New York City smelling the way that New York City does. Now, one of the things that I've done as a business owner is I've said frequently that New York City smells like piss everywhere. But I don't think I have the right to complain about it smelling like piss if, when people walk into my store and ask if I have a bathroom, I don't allow them to use it. Because after Wolf Night said that I could not use their bathroom after spending $60 at their establishment, $20 of which is a tip, I pretty much did what you do in New York City, which is walk right outside their establishment and take a piss in the wall. Because then also, I'm not going to piss myself on the way home because you guys are assholes. But I digress. What I do is I've told my staff, let people use the bathroom. As long as you believe that there is a less than 50% chance that the person walking in is going to try to create a home in the bathroom and lock us out of it, let them use the fucking bathroom. You know that if you had to pee, that you would hope that the person at the business would just allow you to use the bathroom, so just allow them to use the freaking bathroom. But this is indeed a serious problem. Now, this is something that I've talked about in other videos. I did a video on the New York City homeless problem being a giant scam, where I go over how millions and millions of dollars of taxpayer money goes towards homeless shelters that are run by people that get paid over $500,000 a year that look like this. They're not taken care of, they're leaking, they look like shit. You have this cot over here, everything is dirty, it's disgusting, they're not really well taken care of, there's a lot of violence that goes on in them, and there is a lot of corruption that goes on at these homeless shelters run by nonprofit charities where the executive director gets $500,000 a year to let it look like this shit. In spite of the insane amount of taxes that you pay in New York City, instead of your tax dollars actually going towards what they're supposed to, which is helping the homeless, they go towards corrupt garbage like that, and the homeless don't get helped, which means that they try to camp out inside of your freaking bathroom, which is a serious issue, and I understand business owners trying to protect themselves against that. One example of this is the Planet Fitness on 27th Street and 7th Avenue, right across the street from my store. If you go into the locker room there, every other day, one of the soap containers is broken. The shower things are broken. There's usually somebody in the locker room trying to cook food using an electric cooker over there. There are people that, this is the one that gets me the worst, where they will not use the shower, but they will stand in front of the mirror with a brush, brushing their hair for 30 minutes. And with each brush, you can just feel the smell of hair that has not been washed for 3 months just whiffing towards you. But they will not use the shower to wash. There's a lot of issues involved with businesses becoming homes for the homeless. And you can kind of see what happens when that starts to occur. And a big part of that is that the places for the homeless are shitholes like this because of rampant corruption within the government. But at the same time, I think the pendulum has swung a little bit too far in the other direction, where you can easily spend $50 to $70 at a business and then have them tell you, no, we're not letting you use the restroom. And I do think there needs to be some sort of balance there. If you don't want your city to smell like piss, then you need to give people a place to pee. I lived in New York City for 32 years. I can attest that if you don't carefully plan your route, you will be stuck either having to take a piss and having no place to do it, or just using the bridge. I can't tell you how many times I've had to do something that could have gotten me a ticket, because even if I was willing to pay money, there was literally no place for me to fucking pee. And that really, really sucks. It's a serious issue. And again, it's an issue that I think you're going to have in almost any major city. If you live in this area, if you go to, let's say, a Torchy's Tacos in Round Rock, you can easily use the bathroom even if you're not a customer. If you go to, let's say, Kava by the Drag, you need the password for the bathroom, and it's not even like a 2 or a 3-digit password anymore. Now they have 5 and 6-digit passwords there. It's kind of like with iPhones. It's like 4 digits is not secure enough. We need a 6-digit password for our bathroom, to the point where when you ask the person that is at the counter what the bathroom password is, they don't even remember half the time. Which led to somebody putting it on a Post-it and putting it on the door, which is, oh my God. Boomer computer security applied to bathrooms. But if you look at a place like, let's say, the Kava that's around Bee Caves, that place has no password on its bathroom because they don't have that problem to the same degree. There has to be some sort of balance. I think there has to be some sort of balance. The other issue here is how people are actually treating these restrooms, even when they were not people who were homeless or anything else, just normal citizens, people that probably make 6 or 7 figures. They would just walk into a public restroom and figure, I'm never going to use this again. Who cares? It's somebody else's problem. It's somebody else's responsibility. They piss all over the seat. They don't flush after they take a shit. They leave toilet paper. Like, they're disgusting. And that's the thing, this is the part that's really uncomfortable to admit. But in many sections of the country, we get the public restrooms that we deserve. If you're somebody that pissed on the seat, didn't look for a spray bottle or something to clean it up so that it didn't look like shit for the next person. Hell, I see people do this in other people's houses when they're their friends, much less in public restrooms. Then you're part of the reason that there are less public restrooms, and further, you're part of the reason that less and less businesses are willing to open up their restrooms to the public so that they can get destroyed. So this is all stuff that I think has to be thought about and has to be considered when we're thinking about public restrooms. If you are part of the homeless management in the city, please, for fuck's sake, figure out why it is that everything that I talked about in this 21-minute video over here, New York City's homeless problem is a giant scam, exists. This is a multifaceted problem. Figure out a way to make it so that homeless shelters are not complete and utter garbage. You have tens to hundreds of millions of dollars. Please stop wasting taxpayer dollars. In this video, one of the most common comments in it was, why don't you just let them sleep in your house then or take them in? Because I'm not stealing hundreds of millions of dollars from the taxpayer to provide homeless services, you dumb fuck. But it is what it is. New York City voters get the politicians they deserve. Now, the second thing that can be done here is just a cultural thing. If you're in a public restroom, don't piss in the toilet seat. If there's piss in the toilet seat, if there is piss in the toilet, even if it's not yours, find the spray bottle, spray it, and clean it up. And clean it up after you're done. Make it so that businesses actually want to open their restrooms to the public and do a nice thing. Again, if you're in Walpole, New Hampshire, and you go to a public restroom or you go to a business that allows you to use the restroom, it does not look like a restroom looks in Brooklyn or Manhattan or Midtown Manhattan in New York City. And there's a reason for that. And that stuff has to change. Third, if you are a business that is going to charge $20 for a fucking sandwich and you accept tips of $20, do not then disallow that customer from using the restroom, because that customer might just walk outside the business and piss in the side wall of your building. And in all seriousness, what do you like? If you're not even able, like, I grew up during the era of you need to spend money at our business to be able to use the bathroom. To be at a point where like you could spend $60 at a business and not be able to use the bathroom, it's bullshit, especially if you were a loyal customer dating back to 2013. That shit's just fucked up and lame. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think this is something where the government getting involved in incentivizing businesses to allow people to use the bathroom will actually work, or do you think that's just more of a giant clusterfuck? Me personally, I think a lot of stuff has to change culturally for that to actually work. And that's about that. Happy pissing. That's it for today. And as always, hope you learned something. See you all in the next video. Bye now.